So it's March 2019, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. And I've just finished up a day of back-to-back meetings. Bit tired, but 6 o'clock, it's time to go home, right? No. Unfortunately, for me, that was a time of day when I typically started my most important work. I was a partner in an accountancy firm, and my most important work was reviewing the work that my team had done to make sure that we'd done it right. And I had to do that work that evening because I had another day of back-to-back meetings tomorrow. I didn't feel like doing it then, but I had to do it then. So I called my wife, say, I'm going to be late home again this evening. She asked me, how long are you going to be? I say, it's probably about 2 hours. It was never 2 hours. There was a running joke, I think it was a joke, in our relationship, where whatever time I said I was going to be home, she would always add an hour. And actually, for our first wedding anniversary, as the symbol is paper, she had printed up a word montage, and in the middle it said, add an hour. I was more than 2 hours. I ended up having dinner in the office. I finished up work at about midnight. And in the taxi on the way home, I worked out that so far that year, I'd eaten dinner more times at my desk than I had at home with my wife. I thought, this just doesn't feel right to me. And to make it even worse, I had this contradiction where I was the head of people for a large part of this firm. And on one hand, I was telling people, this is a great place to work. And on the other, I knew many of us worked like this. So I wanted to find a different way to work, not just for me, but so that I could be a role model to others in the firm. And I realized that it was these back-to-back meetings all day that were stopping me from doing my most important work. So I then had to do it in the evenings and on the weekend. So the next morning, back to the office, open up my Outlook calendar, and I decline, cancel, just remove lots of meetings from my diary for the next few weeks. For the next few weeks, I'm going to work in a high productivity bliss. And for the next few weeks, I had fewer meetings. And guess what? It was an absolute disaster. Things I was responsible for didn't happen. And I still got to the end of most days, still not having done my most important work. And if you think about your working days and your most important work, our most important work isn't done in a meeting. Our most important work isn't done on a Teams or Slack message. And our most important work definitely isn't done in a water cooler moment. Our most important work is done on our own, in those quiet times when we can think, review, and create. It's normally just us and maybe our laptop. But how we work today allows very little time for this. My own research shows it's about 2 hours a day for high-performing professionals. And I know what some of you are thinking, 2 hours a day, that would be fantastic, right? But look, it's not your fault. We're busier than ever, but we end up the working day wondering what it is we've actually done. And this problem isn't actually new. 2,000 years ago, the Roman philosopher Seneca said, it's not that we have too few hours, but it's that we waste too many of them. I believe that this constant communication with our colleagues in Teams messages, email, people stopping by your desk, phone calls, it's robbing us of our job satisfaction. It's robbing us of our free time. And importantly, it's robbing you of how great you could actually be. So it's now April 2019. I've had a few weeks of not going to meetings and work not being done, me feeling a little bit uncomfortable about this. I think I need to find a new way. And unfortunately, I discovered the secret to getting out of this mess. And the secret was getting really comfortable with being strategically unavailable. Strategically unavailable is a mindset shift. When you're deliberately unavailable to your colleagues, you actually have time available to do your most important work. You're not available for random update meetings where the update can be sent by email or video message. You're not available for a quick chat when you're in the middle of your most important work. And I'd suggest you're definitely not available urgently because somebody else forgot to plan properly. Being strategically unavailable means that you have time to focus on your most important work. It's this mindset change. This is how it looked for me. I went through my Outlook calendar again, but this time I did something different. I went through and blocked out every morning to do my most important work. And this was deliberate time, not available to my team, cutting myself off my colleagues, just time on my own to focus on doing my most important work. I turned off all notifications on Outlook, on Teams, and Skype, if you remember that we had back then. And I told people what I was doing so that they wouldn't be surprised if they couldn't get hold of me for a few hours, if I wasn't responsive. And really importantly, I asked my teams to try working in this way too. And you know what? This time, it worked. We were able to get our most important work done during the normal working day. And not only that, because we actually had time to focus on what our most important work was, we actually did that work to a higher level of quality. Now, you may ask, why do I care about this? You've got this working for you. Sounds like you've got it working for your teams. Well, I care about this because over the last few years, I've witnessed the destruction of high performers. Once happy and motivated, they're now just surviving. If we want our employees to be engaged, to not burn out, we need to embrace a culture of strategic unavailability. Imagine this, most of us, most of the time, excited to go to work because we know we're going to do at least some brilliant work that day and that we're going to have the time to help our colleagues with theirs. We can get there by being strategically unavailable. And I believe we have to do this now so that society can start to benefit from all of our talents, so that we can all be happier and more fulfilled, and so that you can do the best work of your life. Thank you.